Hey there folks, Wrel here. In the background you'll see mostly cutscenes from Mass Effect 3 as I share some thoughts on better gaming. It's funny to think about, but almost all games that I've played lately have given you the opportunity to be great or feel as if you're extremely important, unique, and valuable. In Mass Effect and practically any RPG, it gives you the same sort of feeling, or at least tries to. In Mass Effect, you cut through hordes and hordes of basically clueless, second-rate bad guys as you make your way to the end of the mission, and all the while you're constantly being reminded of just how important you are, how special you are, and how the whole fate of the galaxy basically rests on your shoulders. But even outside of single-player RPGs, in World of Warcraft you start out fighting bunnies and spiders one-on-one, and it's dull, but it gives you the opportunity to grow later on. You literally end up fighting alongside Sylvanas Windrunner, Thrall, Jaina, Tyrion, and other faction leaders and heroes because you become that significant to the storyline, at least your individual storyline. If you take it a step further and look at the Old Republic, you don't really fight enemies one-on-one, and definitely no bunnies and spiders. Instead, you don't pull single mobs at all, you pull single groups. That's your run-of-the-mill combat. So you already start out as the hero, as someone who's a cut above the rest. And just thinking about all that, I've got to ask, is it necessary for a game to give you this feeling in order to be competitive in today's mainstream marketplace? And I do say mainstream specifically because when you look at, say, chess, the game's been around forever, it's very competitive, it's very strategic, but at the same time, it has a very specific audience. So again, that feeling of being greater than you are, is that necessary to make a game competitive, enjoyable, and successful in today's mainstream marketplace? And you may think to yourself, what about the multiplayer games? You have COD, Battlefield, PlanetSide 2, and I think that things are a little bit different there. With the rise of social media, we've become a very show and tell society. I mean, we always were. Even in the 60s, you were judged by the kind of car you drove, and that was as much a status symbol as anything else. But now with social media, we don't really game alone anymore. Anyone can at any time have an extremely vast audience at their fingertips. As players, we get to cherry pick those outstanding moments that happen in game and then post them on our YouTube channels, show them to our friends, and get all sorts of attention from strangers. If you do something exceptional, or if you're an exceptional player all around, you usually get some sort of recognition. There's a reason why people call the Rendezook, instead of just the mid-air rocket maneuver. If everyone could do it, or if many people did it at the same time and posted it online, then it would just be another thing that happened, just something that you could do in Battlefield 3. It'd be cool, but it wouldn't be out of the ordinary, just like if Commander Shepard wasn't really necessary to saving the galaxy. It would not create such a compelling story. Now, as a player who is incapable of pulling off a Rendezook or a mid-air repair in PlanetSide 2, just the knowledge that it is possible is enough to get me motivated to learn, and it gives me something to strive for. So the ability to become greater than you are, I think, is really important in a game. Even in PlanetSide 2, where your life expectancy is maybe, 1 to 4 minutes, and a single person rarely matters in the scheme of things, that brief 10-second window where you can do something really, really impactful, like wipe out an entire squad with your dying breath, just the ability to do that, I think, is important. Also, the ability to show it off or have some evidence that you did do it is probably even more important. And I'm not saying that everyone who does something cool necessarily wants to show it off or necessarily needs the recognition, but the ability to do that, the ability for others to take note of your accomplishments, I think is a major draw in today's marketplace. Many multiplayer games are incorporating Twitch live streaming capabilities right into the game itself. PlanetSide 2 does it, Rift does it. Rift even gave you the option of tweeting and Facebook posting your achievements and in-game recordings automatically. Show and tell society, right? But if a game wasn't able to give you those really cool one-off moments worth talking about, how quickly do you think that game would tank? Even if it was a good game, even if it was a lot of fun, you enjoyed it, how quickly would you move on to the next thing? The games where I don't have a lot of community interaction seem to be a one-and-done deal for me. Metro Last Light was a good example. It's a great game, loads of fun, but I'm not sure that I'll play through it again. You're extremely important to the outcome of the story, just like in Mass Effect, but Last Light is also very one-dimensional. It's a great story, but there's just not a lot of choices and not a lot of reasons to get attached to my character. I'm not going to take screenshots of my Artyom and post them online, like many people do with their Commander Shepards, and I'm not going to write up a fanfiction about what could have happened if things worked out differently. That said, there are many pieces to the puzzle, but I think that the sense of becoming greater than you are is certainly a good place to start. I know this wasn't a very long episode, but I figured it was worth sharing. I'd like you to think about it. I mean, really think about it. In a single-player game, is it important to feel significant and undefeatable? And in a multiplayer game, is it important to have the ability to do something incredible, something that I can put my name on, or have that one thing that I can share with others? If this video has been interesting, helpful, or entertaining, please feel free to like, subscribe, and tell your friends about the channel, and I'm interested in your thoughts on this. I can think of a few examples where these rules might not necessarily apply anymore, maybe in games where nostalgia played a big factor in their popularity, like Counter-Strike or Tribes, but the concept as a whole, is it important for us as players and characters to become greater than we are, or think ourselves to be? Thanks very much, folks. Wrel signing off.
Screw you, ma'am. I can't believe we got them out alive. I was going to suggest that they stick to support roles, but perhaps they're ready after all.
They're definitely ready, but the Alliance needs them in a support role.
What? We trained for artillery strikes.
We don't need an